What up, B Squad? It is me, JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, you guys. This is season number 6, and this is episode 11. This episode was titled Ladies Who Lunch the Sequel. This episode was a mess. But before I get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you guys are not yet subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and get into this episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Shall we? All right, you guys. So if you guys watched this episode last night, feel free to let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. And we'll go ahead and talk about it. But overall, for me, I thought it was a funny episode. I still think Meredith is a tad bit on the delusional side because the more I listen to what the ladies say, I do believe that they are, I do believe them I do believe them when they say what happened because Meredith isn't making any sense when it comes down to it at all. So this episode, the first half of the episode, really it just centers around Mary. So we'll get Mary on the screen. So, like I said, the episode first opens up and we're at Walters. You guys, if you guys watch season 1 of Salt Lake City, then you guys remember that Mary had the ladies all meet up at Walters for a ladies who lunch. They eventually did this again. I think they did it last season with the Audrey Hepburn thing, right? But they're meeting up at Walter, and so this is so we see as everyone is talking. So we see Whitney and Heather row together, Meredith and Lisa row together, and everyone is talking about the fact that they haven't talked to each other since the last time they saw each other, right? So it was hilarious to me that when Heather, not yeah, when Lisa and Meredith got there, it was so funny to me. Angie, when Angie said, "Mary, your guests have arrived." That shit was funny to me. They're drinking at 2003 Dom Perignon. I was like, okay, Mary, you love you some 2003 Dom Perignon. So Mary told the ladies that she did invite Brittany, but well, she did not invite Brittany, but she did call Brittany on the phone. And the reason that she didn't invite Brittany is because Brittany has said that she was the least Christ-like person that she knows, right? And I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all. And so she said that in the process of that conversation, that she apologized to her. And so Mary felt bad, like, damn, like, should I invite her? So she asked her dog for some input, but her dog didn't give her a high five. And so she didn't invite her. But she was kind of shocked that, the girl apologized to her. So she's like, if she can apologize to me, then I feel like we should be able to apologize to each other. And we should also be able to say that, in that moment, we weren't trying to offend you. And Heather was like, yeah, Lisa, you hear that? You hear what Mary said? And Lisa felt offended per usual. And I was like, leave it up to Lisa to always feel slighted and offended. It's like, girl. So Mary is like, so what have you heard about Heather? And she said, well, it's the whole Brittany thing. She said it's the whole Brittany thing and the fact that both Lisa and Meredith are saying that nothing happened. So Lisa sits here and lies and says, I never said that nothing happened. And the producers rolled the footage back where you literally said in that sit down with Heather that you did nothing to Brittany. So Lisa, you're just proving what a liar you are, right? So Meredith said, "Well, we never talked about it." And Heather said, "Okay, well, let's talk about it now. Like, let's have the conversation." She says, "Because Brittany holds both you and Lisa accountable, right?" And so Meredith saying that I was only reacting to Brittany, and her reaction wasn't right. And Heather's like, "Bitch, it wasn't the right time or the right place." And so Lisa says, "Well, Meredith was just crying and venting to me." And Whitney said, "You were calling her names and you were taunting her." And so Lisa then says, "It was just me and Meredith." And Meredith is saying, "Yeah, and she had headphones on. She was watching a movie." Okay, and I was with Whitney. Even if she did have headphones on, you still were talking loud enough for the girl to fucking hear you. So what are you trying to sit here and say and do, Meredith? Like, just own up to it, like, you know what, okay, maybe I was a little loud, maybe I did, maybe I was, doing the most, but for you to keep sitting here and deflecting, it's getting on my nerves, right? So after that, Meredith is saying, well, they because Whitney said it went on for 5 hours, Meredith. And Meredith is like, it did not go on for 5 hours because I slept during that time. I watched the movie. And they were like, okay, what movie did you watch? She was like, Crazy Rich Asians. And so I think it was Angie who was like, okay, well, how did the movie end? She was like, but I slept, I watched a movie, I went to sleep again, I watched another movie, and that's all that happened. And I was like, I don't know if that's all that happened, Meredith. So Meredith's like, I don't know how the movie ended. Do you know how every movie ends that you watched? And I was like, I was feeling the same way that Angie was feeling. It's like, yes, ma'am. Like, if I watch a movie and I'm interested in the movie, then I can pretty much tell you how the movie ended. Like, that ain't what I don't. That ain't like the get you gotcha that you probably think it is, Meredith, because that means that you probably weren't paying attention to the movie, or you, again, were yelling at Brittany and you were not paying attention to said movie, but whatever. So then we moved. So Lisa told what happened at the end of the movie, and she was like, oh, well, maybe I must have fell asleep during the movie. Maybe I must have fell asleep and don't remember it. I was like, come on, Meredith. Like, you are not doing yourself any favors. So you guys must have been either Lisa has watched the movie before, or she was watching it on the plane, and Meredith just wasn't paying attention to the fucking movie. Like, it's one of the two, Meredith. You're like, just be honest and say what it is. Like, I'm just so confused when it comes down to it, right? So Meredith says that she feels bad that Brittany's feelings were hurt, but she doesn't feel that Brittany cares about her feelings being hurt. And so Bronwyn asked her, you know, Bronwyn then asked her, like, you said you're talking about her hurt feelings, but are you sorry? And she went a roundabout way to say yes, that she was sorry. I was like, oh my God, Meredith, it's like pulling teeth with you. So then Meredith got pissed off because Heather basically told Meredith that at this point she's lost all her privilege to say how she really feels. And I was kind of with Meredith. It's like, how do you say I've lost my privilege to talk about this situation? Like, where do you get the audacity to tell me that, Heather? So Lisa is still once again defending Meredith, and I'm like, there is no defending Meredith in this particular moment. Like, I I just don't get what we're talking about here. Like, it's so weird to me when it comes to this situation, right? So Mary asked Heather, not Heather, but she asked Lisa a very valid question. She was like, Lisa, if I had done that to you on the plane, would I be right in doing so? I noticed that Lisa never really answered that question about if she would be right or wrong. I was like, that's interesting. You don't answer that question. So then they asked Lisa the question of, like, why come you didn't go through customs with us? So Lisa says that she didn't go through customs with them because she realized that she had what did she say? She had global entry. And they were like, okay, but you still stood in that line we were in that line for a good few hours. So you still stood on the line with us. And so then she was saying to them, that, you know, I was listening to, I had my AirPods in and I was listening to Kendrick Lamar, and Mary found that shit funny. And because they asked her at one point, they were like, well, why come you didn't stand in customs with Brittany? And so Mary said to Meredith, like she couldn't imagine sitting next to Meredith in that moment of rage. And she understood that Meredith was upset. And she says, I'm not attacking you, Meredith. She says, I love you. She says, I'm not attacking you. She said, but I just couldn't imagine going through what Brittany went through, right? And so Meredith is like, well, no one defended her. And what's her name? Angie even chimed in. She was like, Meredith, we all thought that what she said was wrong. And then Heather was like, and you told me that if I'm going to defend her, then you're good on that. And Meredith was like, I didn't say that. And Lisa even had to chime in and was like, yeah, Meredith, you did say that. And Meredith, you did say that to them at that table back on the boat. You did mention to them, like, if they are going to basically take her side, then you don't want nothing, you like don't have anything to do with you. So Meredith is still running with, and Angie asked a question. She was like, okay, Meredith, you have your story, but why does Whitney's, Heather's, and Mary's story all line up, but yours doesn't? She didn't answer that question. I was like, that's interesting that you don't answer that question, Meredith. So after that, we move on. So Meredith is still running with this thing that she was asleep on the plane and when she was watching the movie. And Meredith's like, and she's like, it's a problem if you don't remember, Meredith. Like, that is a big problem if you don't remember that what happened. And so then Meredith lets us know that she's upset with Whitney once again because Whitney had a conversation with Bronwyn. Bronwyn took the conversation back to Meredith, and I was like, "Oh God, Bronwyn, why?" So essentially, and I'm gonna paraphrase it because Whitney, they were talking, and the question came up if Meredith was drinking on the plane and before they got on the plane, and Whitney said yes to both, right? So Meredith is taking it that Whitney is saying that she has an a substance abuse problem, right? I was like, how do we get that from that? I would think it's just that she's calling you a drunk. I mean, just me personally, that's what I would take it, that she was calling you a drunk. Not saying that you have a substance abuse problem, but hey, that's where Meredith took it, and that's how Meredith took it. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell Meredith that she is wrong for how she took something, right? And so Whitney explained it. She's like, either you have an anger problem, you have a hatred in you, or you mix substances. I was like, oh fuck, Whitney. But whatever. So that was it for that situation. So then the next two scenes, these were kind of like throwaway scenes that we got. So we got a scene with Bronwyn, and we found out that Bronwyn is not a U.S. citizen. I was like, that's interesting that she's not a U.S. citizen. We found out that she was born in Brazil. Then we also found that we saw Heather do this Wayfair commercial. I ain't got much for that Wayfair commercial with Heather. That's it. That's all. Another scene that I want to talk about is Brittany and her daughter Olivia. So they went to therapy, right? And so Olivia is telling her story about, her relationship with her mother. And honestly, I felt so bad for Olivia because listening to Olivia, so Brittany's last ex-husband, she had stepchildren, but Olivia is telling the story that Brittany put those stepchildren above she and her sister. And so Brittany, she says that she felt that her mom would do anything to make sure that husband knew that she loved his kids more than she loved her own kids, right? And that and also that she would, whenever they have accomplishments, her mother would go above them. She would really amp up their accomplishments and not hers. And she also doesn't feel like she's good enough. It's like she feels like people are coming to her life and they'll leave her. And I was like, oh no, poor baby. I really honestly felt bad for her daughter. That is terrible. And I realized in this moment of this episode, I would realize that Brittany is just as a broken person. And so she's made her daughters to be as broken as she is. And I'm glad that they're in therapy and I hope that they continue it. And I hope that Brittany, you know, is able to be the mother that her daughters need. I know her daughters are grown, but I hope she can be the mother that those girls need and deserve. And that's all I got for Brittany. We'll go ahead and move on to the next person who really their scene was nothing. Let's talk about Heather real quick. Heather's scene. I was kind of grossed out by Heather's scene for multiple reasons. So Heather and Whitney are moving this marital bed out of her home that she's had for 20 years. And I was like, Heather, you do know that they say you're supposed to change your beds every 8 years, right? Like you do know that. Why would you keep that same mattress for 20 years? Girl, I know that mattress had to hurt your back. Them springs, Jesus the Christ. Mm, mm, mm. Like I know that mattress had to hurt your fucking back. But hey, it is what it is, right? And like I said, her and Whitney, they did talk about what happened down to Walters, right? And Whitney's whole thing is she is looking at this from the viewpoint of what happened with her father. So the thing with Meredith is kind of making her relive what happened with her dad. And I was like, okay, I understand that, but I don't know if that was your place to. It's not. I don't know. It wasn't your place to say anything, but Whitney says that she was going to talk to Meredith, but Bronwyn did it for her. I was like, okay. I mean, I guess if you want to be upset about that, cool. Be upset about it, right? So we move on from that. And so we move on over to Bronwyn. Where's Bronwyn at? All right. So we move on to Bronwyn. Bronwyn scene, it really wasn't a whole lot to her scene either. We see her, her mom, and Gwen. They are out doing bonsai plants, right? And the only thing that I will say that I got from this scene with Brittany and her mom is, but I think I've said this plenty of times before when it comes to Brittany, that Brittany is very codependent. Like oh God, I want her to learn independence for herself because I also think she has separation anxiety as well. I also believe she has separation anxiety. And what up, Chuck? How are you doing today? Hope you are having a great day. So, but yeah, I think she just has separation anxiety because she felt away. Did I say Brittany? If I said Bronwyn, not Brittany. If I said the wrong name, my bad, y'all. If I said the wrong name, my bad. But I definitely think that Bronwyn has separation anxiety from her mom and her daughter. For her daughter talking about she wants to go to Portland, and Bronwyn feels a way about that, then I want Bronwyn to get some help. Much like I want Brittany to get some help, but I want Bronwyn to sit down and talk to someone. Yeah, mine just started about, which I'm still technically working, but mine started at 2:30 my time. So my holiday starts today. I'm off Thursday, Friday. Oh, got the whole weekend off. I'm so happy about that. But yeah, I really just want my girl Bronwyn to. I want her to go talk to somebody because, like, I get it because I lived with my mom until I was, until she passed away. Yeah, Bronwyn's never been on her own, and I really do feel bad for her in that regard. I really truly do. So yeah, that's all we got with Bronwyn. So I've talked about I talked about Mary's long scene. I talked about Heather. We talked about Brittany and Bronwyn. So we'll wrap it up with Meredith. And I feel a way about Miss Meredith. So Meredith. So Meredith and Lisa went out for a manicure and a pedicure, right? Chuck, I absolutely agree. I wish she knew her worth as well. So Bronwyn and not Bron, what I keep saying, I want to say Bronwyn, Meredith and Lisa went out for Manny and Patty's, right? So Meredith feels a way that Heather was quote unquote leading the charge against her. Meredith, it's not that she was leading a charge against you, is that she was calling your ass out and you couldn't handle it, right? She also feels hurt by Whitney. And I was like, okay, I get you feeling hurt by Whitney. That's fine. And she says that Whitney needs to focus on herself. Meredith, I'll agree with you on that. When Meredith and Lisa can go straight to hell, they can. I'll give you that one. I will give you that she needs to focus on herself. I don't disagree with that. So Lisa let it be known that she met up with Brittany, who feels like she experienced a lot, right? And so we get the flashback. Lisa, you gaslit that girl, telling that woman that you know what she knows in her mind happened didn't happen. Then for you to sit there and tell her that you were helping her and that she said you didn't apologize to her and you said you apologized to her. So which one is it, Lisa? Like you do realize you are catching yourself up in your lies. Because first you say nothing happened there, then you say you apologized to her, then you say you were helping her, then you tell her she doesn't remember it correctly. So Lisa says that she feels that she and Brittany are in a good space with each other. I was like, really? Brittany, do you care to tell us if you and her are in a good space with each other? Because I hope not. My God, I hope not. I really hope not, right? So Lisa suggests that Meredith and Brittany sit down and have a conversation with each other, and Meredith agrees, right? So we do see as they sat down with each other, and Meredith did tell Brittany that she apologized that she hurt her feelings, and that she heard what she said. I was kind of looking at Meredith like, is this apology is BS? But okay, I mean, I guess, right? So she tells Brittany that she hopes that they can move forward and be in a, I guess, like a quote unquote cordial space with each other. They don't have to be friends with each other, but it can be respect amongst them, right? And Brittany even apologized to Meredith. She said she knew what she did was wrong. And I was like, it's interesting and big of Brittany that Brittany is apologizing. This ain't the Brittany that I'm used to. But hey, that was the episode. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, you guys. Turn on your post notifications and also share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I will catch you guys in the next video. So the next video up will be Bel Air episode 1. That is premiering in about an hour from now, and episode 2 and 3 should be up sometime tomorrow. That's my goal. That's my hope. But yeah, I'm gonna get off here, you guys, and I'll catch you guys later. If I probably will go live tomorrow for Married at First Sight just to discuss the season. But if I don't do that and I don't see you, you guys don't hear from me again. You guys have a great Thanksgiving, and if you guys have the weekend off, have a great weekend. And I will see you guys when really being. I think we're gonna go live this weekend for Beyond the Gates, even though it was only 2 episodes this week, and we may open it up for some of you guys to come and join us. But we'll talk. She and I have to talk about that. But like I said, I'm off here, you guys. Again, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, eat, and be married tomorrow. Well, not married, but eat, stuff your face, do all the things, you guys. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.